This is Financial Standard, the definitive source of news, thought leadership and analysis for Australian wealth management professionals. Financial Standard. Take the lead.
Welcome to the Financial Standard podcast. I'm your host, Karen Vergara, a senior journalist at Financial Standard. Financial Standard recently unveiled its Power 50 list, which honours the country's most influential financial advisors who provide outstanding service to clients, raise the standards for the profession, and help shape its future. Bounce Financial owner and financial planner Kara Brett is once again on this year's list. Kara, congratulations.
Thank you very much. That's lovely.
So Kara, you're here with us today because we want to talk to you about what being influential means to you, because you tick all the boxes and you help move the profession forward in a very positive way. So what does being influential in the advice profession means to you and for your clients?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of the basis more around education more than anything else. Finances are so complex, right? And the way that I like to think about how I try and influence people is to make it more palatable for clients so that, I suppose, from their perspective, they can take even really, really small action to progress themselves forward. It's not that they have to come up with these amazing financial plans for themselves, but I just want them to start thinking about it so that they can use, the tool of money to help live the life that they want to live and progress themselves forward.
Let's talk about Bounce Financial and what makes its offering different to other practices.
I would say that we're a holistic financial planning firm. And I know that there are a lot of practices that do that, but we kind of take a really life first approach, if that makes sense. And essentially, it's like, what does your life look like? What do you want your life to look like? And then how can I use the tool of money and finances to build it for you or to help you build the life that you want to live? And I think that, when people meet us for the first time, they assume that we are going to look at things like investments and superannuation and all that stuff, which of course we are. It's part of what we do. But from our perspective, it's like, what do you want as a person? Because person A wants something completely different from person B. And the way that I use finances and financial planning as a tool is going to be completely different for all of them.
Which demographics of clients do you serve?
Yeah, I would call our demographics professional families. And so typically it's going to be people in the age category of 35 to 55. They're usually in, professional roles. They've got a couple of kids. They've got a house. They're very busy professionals and they definitely need guidance. They're smart for what they do. They just need guidance to help direct them where they want to go.
So we all know that small businesses are the lifeblood of this country. You're not only a financial planner, you provide advice, but you're also a business owner. So what are the challenges that come with that, Kara?
Yeah, there are a lot of challenges with being a business owner as well as positives, obviously. From a challenge perspective, I not only have to be really good at the craft of financial planning, but I also have to steer the ship of the business and my staff and looking after all the facets of business ownership life. I would say that from a challenge perspective, it's really hard to switch off. Because when I turn my brain off from financial planning, I turn my brain onto business. And, on a really superficial level, it's really hard to completely take time off because, you can have the best intentions, I guess, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. So if staff get sick or if something comes up, then it's obviously my responsibility to step in and steer the ship correctly, essentially.
Let's talk about the two podcasts that you host. Tell us more about that. And that's one of the ways that you help uplift financial literacy.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got two podcasts. One's called Money Chats, and this is literally the main podcast we have for the financial planning side. We are talking about, financial concepts, strategies in finance, things that we have seen to really help, I guess, people who are listening, whether they're clients or not clients, understand exactly the types of things they could or should be doing based on their situation. So obviously that's aimed at our demographic and it's thinking about all the things they're thinking about. So if they're upgrading a house or if they're looking to that pre-retirement or they've got privates for kids, we're literally talking about all of the different things that they could be considering. That is definitely the one that I think is the most beneficial in terms of educating clients because we get a lot of leads from that. And also by the time they've come to us, they've listened to a few. So they're almost parroting back some of the things that I have said to them.
Wow.
Which is such an amazing thing because it means they've already started to mentally take some of the steps to help their financial future. So that's really cool. And then the second podcast I have is kind of more based on business ownership and service-based business ownership. And so whilst it's talking about all facets of business like marketing and processes, obviously given that I have more of a financial background, I'm talking about and introducing concepts around finances for small businesses, which I just love business and I'm like really passionate about that. So from that perspective, that's another outlet for me to be able to promote considerations around finances when it comes to helping other people.
And in terms of your other work in financial literacy, say, for example, how you educate your own clients, like tell us more about that process.
One of the things that I love to do with my clients, especially when it's one-on-one, is try and speak to them in a way that they understand. So getting an understanding of who that client is and coming back to them and giving them examples of how situations work reflected on them or even their job sometimes. Part of the way that I like to educate and speak to my clients is, yes, you're right, there is so much jargon in financial planning. And yes, we need to say some of the words, but we can bring it down to basics and make it a little bit more palatable for them. One of the things I do is I actually am relatively open about how I manage my finances in a really basic way so that people understand, one, I practice what I preach, but also so they can understand how it works in real time. So obviously I'm not talking about other clients to new clients, so it's all private information, but I like to be pretty open with my own just so that, one, it makes them feel understood and also builds rapport, but so that they can relate it to their personal situation.
That's a great strategy. It makes it more relatable and I guess they can see it in action in real life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about now what the future of advice looks like to you. How do you help move it forward?
Yeah, it is different than it used to be about 10 years ago. There's substantially less financial advisors around, and it's not news that, the cost of financial advice increases for people. So I really do think there's going to be more of a focus on the education aspect of things and being able to deliver services and advice and education to clients in slightly different ways than the traditional financial advice. So obviously, not every person needs a full financial plan or a full financial advisor at certain points in their life. I do think there will be more, let's just say like online courses or online services or automated services that allow clients to get piecemeal advice or small snippets of education based on where they're at in their personal life at a lower cost, at a self-paced, in a self-paced environment, essentially, that allows them to progress themselves to a point that when they do need to seek financial advice, they've kind of got themselves half the way there. And I think just because we have so many less financial advisors now than we used to, we are going to have to innovate as an industry. And you're already starting to see some of these like online technology and platforms and courses become available. And I actually just think that's going to continue to evolve over the next few years.
Absolutely. Can't agree with you more. Cara, any final thoughts or comments before you wrap up on just anything, I guess, if you want to talk about, the industry being on the Power 50 list? Any final thoughts or comments?
Look, obviously being on the Power 50 list is amazing in relation to I love financial planning and I love the tool of money in the concept that it really does help people to live their lives. And, from my perspective, if I can be one of the people in Australia that continues to help promote that, then that is obviously something that I can be really proud of. But overall, I'm so excited about the industry, even though there's all these things about reducing advisor numbers and stuff. I honestly think that there is so much positivity over the next few years. And if you can obviously continue to help your clients as an advisor along the way and continue to help educate and make it palatable for them, that it's only going to get better for us as an industry, but also for, Australians who need financial advice.
Cara, thank you so much for your time and keep up the excellent work.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this Financial Standard podcast. For more information, visit financialstandard.com.au. Please keep in mind that the information discussed in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider personal circumstances. Reliance should not be placed on any content without further independent financial research and advice.